Welcome back to Lommel. Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Paul Malin. Alongside me, Jonas and Tonus from Fly Racing. It's round 14 of the FIM Motocross World Championship. We are at the MXGP of Belgium and the treacherously, notoriously deep circuit of Lommel in the north of the country. Round 14 then, about to get underway. MXGP race 1, 30 minutes plus 2 laps is almost upon us. Tony Cairoli has won 3 times here, so too has Jeffrey Hurling, but neither of those two are here this weekend. But Max Anstey, he's won 3 times here in the MX2 category, and he was very good and looked very impressive yesterday in the qualifying race. We will see those qualifying race highlights shortly. But quick aerial view of the racetrack. It is deep, it is gnarly, and it's brutal. And guess what? It's only the first race, so plenty more of torture to come for the riders today. Temperatures more than 25 degrees. The warmest day we've had so far this weekend. And, well, should have brought the bucket and spade. Maybe a little bit of sun lotion, because that's all that stuff is good for these days. We will check out the buggy man in a moment, but 1,800 meters, there is the track as it looks on a flat plan. It's nothing but that now. This was Perez going round on the track earlier. Gerard Perez, the Monster Energy Dakar driver, putting that thing to the test. We'll catch up with him in a few moments as well. But looks like a lot of fun. We'll talk to Jason in a few moments, because before that we will be talking to Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, and that'll be with Jeffrey Hurlings and Tom Vial. Let's hear what they have to say ahead of this weekend.
The recovering is going really good. We will restart on the bike next week, so just counting down the days right now. It's been a hell of a journey this 2019 season. We're already back in training, full gas, let's say, you know, not on the bike, but like off the bike. I can basically do everything right now. We haven't decided which GP will come back to racing yet. The main target this year is to finish off strong in the Motocross of Nations.
I grew up in the motocross environment, and then at one point I started mechanicking for a friend a bit. At one point I ended up in KTM as a technical liaison to the US team, working up the ranks in KTM. And at one point, yeah, Pete just asked me why you don't become team manager.
My father rides motocross, and of course it's my reason. I started on the small bike at 5 or 6 years. When I signed with Red Bull last year, for me it's a big opportunity and a big surprise also. Every weekend is very good with the team. And
Tom popped up my eye a bit with his style. I really liked his style from the start. In the end of the day, we actually made, let's say, casting. We got some people here, we had them on different tracks, and then we decided afterwards, and we all choose Tom Vial.
Tom Vial is a very talented kid, and he has a lot of potential. He's a very curious kid, you know, also with the age, he's only 18 years, so he's very excited, and he asked many times for my advice when we were training, like what should I do here, should I go outside, inside, jump this, jump that. So we spoke about the tracks very often, so it's a shame I'm not there every weekend to, you know, not only race but also support the rest of the team.
my favorite track normally it's a hard track, but I live now in Belgium, and I ride a lot of the sun all the winter and for the training. It's very fun for me to try the sun.
Our targets have been, like I say, first in the beginning get him top 10 and then get him towards top 5, but he proved us wrong. He's a surprise to everybody, and he's doing really well and way better than we all expected.
The race one in Loket, it's strange for me. As the beginning was very good. Calvin, it's very close to me. 5 minutes to the end, I crashed with Calvin. For me, it's not really my fault, but sometimes it's not easy, but it's a race. This week, Monday and Tuesday was not so bad, my neck, and I ride Wednesday on the sun, and it's very good.
Jeffrey is a tough case. The winter preparation looked really good. He looked really strong until he hit the wall. For him, it's mentally tough to be from such a good season last year to such a down season this year.
I think every great racer had his ups and downs. If you look even to Tony Cairoli, he's out this year. He was out with his knee. He was out in 2015. From the last 10, 15 years, he's the man, you know. So he had those parts. Every time I step on the bike, I know it's possible. Definitely had a few too many. and luckily everything has been recovered well, but it's never fun to get injured.
Quick look behind the scenes then, Red Bull KTM Factor Racing, and Jeffrey Hurling's not here, but right, Lisa Leyland caught up with a couple of guys. Tim Gajser, Team HRC, but before that, Gerard Perez, Team Monster Can-Am, or Monster Energy Can-Am Rally Raider.
Some exciting racing in that first MX2 race, but we're now getting ready for MXGP. But with me, we have another special guest. It's Gerard Fares from Monster. Gerard, you've been here in Lommel a few days, haven't you? What have you been up to?
Well, incredible. The first thing, to see these guys go fast, and then now I see Jorge Prado, he win. I'm happy for this. And then I think that is a dream, because today I test the car, yes, in this track, with all the fans. In the first kilometers, I think maybe it's difficult to finish the lap, because there is a lot of jams and with the sun, but at the end I enjoy it a lot, and I'm happy for this, yes.
But Gerard, you actually took me out in the car on Friday. I was so scared. I told you not to do the jumps, and you still did them.
I go full gas with you. Always, I don't know what's happened. When I go with the girls, I go full gas. No, but you enjoy or not? How is?
I was a little bit scared. I thought I was going to be sick, but I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. But going back to motocross, you're from Spain, and of course, one of the best Spanish riders we've had, and we just saw it in the first race, Jorge Prado. He's been unbelievable, hasn't he?
It was incredible. He has a technical incredible, no? He go, I don't know, because it's easy to see, no? He go easy, then I don't know. I need to ask him, but I enjoy a lot with Prado, with all the riders, and now I hope for the race.
Yeah. Gerard, great to have you here. Have a great weekend.
Sorry?
Have a great weekend.
Thank you too, Thank you very much.
Okay, I'd like to speak to our current red plate holder, Tim Gajser. Tim, 177 points ahead. You don't need to chase points this weekend. I guess you're going to be playing it safe, not taking any risks. Is that the plan?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the track is really rough and it's easy to make a mistake. So I will try to make a good start, and then I will see, if I can follow these guys. I will try to stay with them, and but if I can't, I will also rather settle for the point. So we will see. But anyway, I will give my best, and we will see.
It's funny because you're a racer. You want to go fast. You want to win. And you've actually never won here in Lommel, have you? You've never won an overall. So it's a difficult one for you to manage those emotions, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's always really mental coming here in Lommel. We know that the race is going to be really tough, especially with the track so deep, so bumpy. But anyway, I'm feeling good today, so I will do my best, and we will see where we end.
Good luck, Tim. Thank you. Good luck there to Tim and all the guys. It's time for MXGP Race 1.
So the riders were led out by Max Anstig, and then Tim Gajser, and there's a reason for that, because up next we will have our qualifying GoPro highlights, but championship standings first, so before we go anywhere. So it looks coming in around 14. Gajser, as Lisa just said, 177 points clear of Jeremy Seewer. Gauthier Paulin, 26 points further back, and then Tonus, 6 behind him. So Yamaha second, third, and fourth. Cairoli is fifth, but obviously 31 behind him is Jasikonis. Cairoli not riding. Jasikonis should be able to pick fifth up in the next week or so. But the one thing that surprised you, Jason Thomas, and we mentioned this on the studio show yesterday on MXGP TV, the Yamaha resurgence. Seewer, Paulin, Tonus, and of course Romain Febvre. We'll see those guys in action here in the qualifying highlights now. Fantastic jump for Tim Gajser on the Honda. Anstig wasn't too far behind him, look. Nor too was Jeremy Seewer. But it was Tonus who got to the corner first. So that whole Yamaha thing coming back.
Yeah, they've been, Seewer's been incredibly good on the starts. But yeah, 3 out of the top 4 in points for Yamahas this year, and I didn't see that coming this season.
Well, this was Gajser down the inside of Paulin on the opening lap, was it? No, it wasn't. So probably Anstig, actually. And then we've got Gajser just ahead of him. So Van Horebeke it was, getting filled in early on in the race. Paulin here going after Febvre. Tonus just ahead of them. Gajser eventually moved past with this move around the outside. Not just on Paulin, but also on Febvre. got himself into second. It was an impressive start to the race for Gajser.
It was, yeah. I didn't expect a whole lot from him. I thought maybe he would just be managing the championship, but he showed a lot of aggression. Febvre goes down there. This is a track that I don't really relate to being a strong suit for Febvre or Gajser, so I think the win's up for grabs from several guys this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be open, but Gajser eventually muscled his way down the inside of Tonus to get himself into the lead. He led for 3 laps. This guy was on the charge, though, from 3rd to 2nd, Anstey, and then into the lead by the time he reached lap 4. The standing construct KTM rider hadn't been in this position in a qualifying race since the final round of 2017 at Villars-sous-Écot. Pays de Montbéliard. Paul Anfeld picked himself up, eventually came home in 11th position. And then Seawer was just getting a little bit too excited. He fell, eventually came home in 7th. Koldenoff also fell to 9th, as Febvre just picked his way methodically through. Eventually came home in 3rd place. But it was Anstey on the standing construct KTM, first time winner in about 2.5 years. And he'll go to the line first.
Has there ever been a rider more mysterious than Max Anstey? You just never know when he's going to show up and absolutely dominate, and that's exactly what he did yesterday.
I just wonder whether the fact that he's got 3 victories here already in MX2 has something to do with it. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the championship standings then. Of course, we know that Tim Gajser is leading, and he has a good lead as well. 177 points over Jeremy Seawer. Then it's Paul Tonus and Kai Rowley. Tonus not too far behind in 6th, though. Here's how the riders line up for the first MXGP race. MXGP race 1 here this weekend, round 14 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of Belgium at Lommel. Anstey, for the first time since the end of 2017, goes to the line first for standing construct KTM. Gajser for HRC, then Febvre and Tonus, Van Horebeke, Jessiconis, and then Seawer, Simpson, Koldenoff, Monticelli, Paulin, and the rest of the guys you see right there. It's going to be interesting to see who grabs the foxhole shot here this weekend, because Tony Kai Rowley has 8, Gajser has 6. There's Arno Tonus. 2017, when he made his mark back in MXGP, 12th overall, got a podium. That was at Trentino, picked up 355 points. Missed the whole year last year with injury, shoulder surgery. And when you've had that time off, Jason Thomas, it's difficult to sort of get that feeling back. But here he is, 2019, 4th in points, 373 points. And he's looking good. And he's had, what, 6, 7 podiums this year?
Yeah, it's been really consistent. He has pace. I'm just curious to see this. This Lommel track is such a different animal than most of the rounds we've seen. I expect to see a Yamaha at the front. Maybe Seawer again. He's been hole-shotting several lately and has a bunch of podiums in a row coming in here. But I think this is the first race in a long time where I'm not sure who's going to win, and I'm excited about that. It's been a Gajser runaway for the last 9 rounds. Febvre picking up the 1 win last week, but I think there's maybe 4 or 5 guys that could take the overall today.
And that's going to make it more exciting. I was talking to Dave Strybos, former 125 world champion, earlier today in pit lane during these guys' free practice warm-up session. And he said, pick a winner, basically. And I was like, dude, you can't. It's so open. So open.
I'll just pick Prado. How about that?
You know what? He could probably win today in MXGP.
He'll get his chance next year.
Yeah. Jeremy Van Horebeke, the Honda SR Motor Blues rider. Great qualifying for him yesterday, 5th. Belgium announced their team yesterday. Jargo Kietz in MX2, Van Horebeke MXGP, and Kevin Strybos in the open class. This guy will be looking to keep it on 2 wheels, Glenn Koldenoff. Actually, you know what? He could be a dark horse here. He likes the sand. He enjoys riding in the sand. But then, you know, so too does Febvre, Seawer, Paul and Tonus. There's a whole bunch of them. Gajser was good yesterday in qualifying, but it was Max Anstey who grabbed the win. The fly race in 15-second board up for the first time for MXGP Race 1. 30 minutes plus 2 laps. With me, Paul Malin and Jason Thomas. We're about to get ready to go racing here. Seawer or Febvre. Febvre it is, and we've got riders going down at the back here.
Koldenoff.
And Van Horebeke spins it up in the middle of the gate, but we've got guys going down, going into the first turn, but Koldenoff right there in second as well. And then Gajser going from 3rd to 2nd, making moves immediately. So Gajser second, Van Horbik third. One of the Wilvo boys is there in fourth, and it's number 4 of Jonas and Tonus. Then Seaward just behind him in 5th place. Then Strybos back here in the colours of the national flag. Or is it actually? Yes, it was Strybos. Oh, Anstey. So win number 4 is going to go begging here. So Anstey down at turn 1. The standing, oh, look at that. Wow, that is a high-speed crash there, and he gets hit as well from behind. Max Anstey cannot buy a break at the moment. He wins the qualifying race, and he's down before he even gets to turn 1.
I think he tangled with Jonas and Tonus there coming up the start straightaway, but that was a high-speed one, like you said.
This was Gajser going through on Febvre just a moment ago. So before the end of the first lap, Tim Gajser taking everybody by surprise here. And it's Gajser who continues to lead as the rest of the pack come through. But Febvre there in second, 4:61. Then the 2:59. Anstey's teammate of Glenn Koldenoff, who said he could be a dark horse. Well, he gets off to a great start here, Jonas and Tonus from Fly Racing, and he's going to make these guys work. He's going to keep them honest, I feel.
Yeah, this isn't a track that you would, he's never won here before. And, Febvre coming off of a 1-1 last week, he wants to continue on that momentum. So it's probably going to come down to these two. I don't know that Koldenoff will be able to challenge these guys over the course of, 35 minutes, but hopefully we'll get a great battle. I think these were the two we had circled as the most likely winners anyway.
And when doubling their way through, that will change as the race goes on, because the ruts on the face of that jump, they've been fixed. So that will all change later on. They'll just a short little table, then a single. But it's Gajser who leads. Febvre second, Koldenoff third, Tonus fourth, Seaward fifth, Jonas, Strybos, Paulin, Monticelli, Van Horbik have both been passed by Sean Simpson, who moves up to 9th. He will relish these conditions, will the Scot. Tixier 12, Bogus 13, Tom Cock 14, then Jeffrey de Wolf, Sever Brilikov, Lars van Berkel, Tanel Leut, Petr Petrov, and Lucas Platt. Jasikonis up to 19th now, though. And here's Febvre. He fell here in the qualifying race yesterday, but he's still got Gajser right there in his sights. This is how he lost the lead a lap ago. He went to the outside, Febvre, and Gajser went to the inside. I think Febvre decided, you know what, I need to react there. He probably heard the Honda to his right-hand side, Jason.
Yeah, you can just tell he has that first lap intensity, and we were wondering if he would weigh back and let the race come to him with the championship or not, and certainly taking it to him at the moment.
Alessandro Puzar there with a beard, former 2-time world champion, of course, the Italian. Keeping an eye on what's going on here, but Gajser is not breaking free from Romain Febvre. Febvre did say yesterday that, again in our studio show, that he was looking forward to this place. He likes being here, he likes riding here, just loses his foot in there on his left foot peg. The gap between these two is 0.8 of a second, but it's Febvre, crucially, as Anstey goes back, holding that left shoulder maybe. But it's Febvre, 2:05, a 2:01.0 for Gajser. So the fastest lap goes to Romain Febvre, who's there in second position. And Koldenoff is right there with them as well.
I think Febvre senses an opportunity here. We're missing Jeffrey Herlings. We're missing Tony Cairoli. He knows that Gajser is likely thinking championship. All of that equals race wins for Febvre right now if he can get aggressive. So I think down the stretch, the last few rounds, every time out, he's going to be hoping to win.
Well, he got his first win in 3 years and 2 months last weekend in Loquet with a 1-1, so that was a good feeling for him. He's not affected by the third and the little slip-off yesterday in the qualifying race. Romain Febvre here, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider, but can he do what he did last week? Just get by these guys early, or get by this guy early, and try and pull away. Gajser, we already heard from in the pre-grid interview from Lisa Leyland that, if I can stay with these guys, I will, but if I can't, I'll go for the safe points. But he's doing a good job of leading this one at the moment. There's AJ. He is now up in a 16th place on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. Oh! Back end getting a little bit leery there.
He's lucky he's tall.
I was going to say, if he was a little short ass, then he would have been out the side door, for sure. And again, mistakes, just trying too hard. Brilikov behind him. But here's Febvre challenging Gajser for the lead.
It'll be interesting to see how far Gajser will go into the red here, no pun intended, to stay up front. has to realize he has a huge point. So you see him, he really didn't fight there. But it's early too, and then Coldenhoff's kind of waiting in the wings as well. Actually, he dropped off quite a bit there. So I think this is going to come down to a 2-horse race, but I just can't imagine that Gajser's really going to take any big chances.
So here's Gajser. He got off the gas early. Febvre just kept it on a little bit longer, doubled his way into the corner over those braking bumps, picked the front end up, went around the outside, took over the lead. And I wonder if Febvre would have sensed the lack of fight back there from Gajser, and somewhere in the back of his mind thinking, well, okay, if you're going to let me have it, then maybe this one's mine. But
yeah, you think Gajser he's willing to win if the opportunity's there, but it's up to Febvre to pressure him there, and Coldenhoff's got to be thinking the same thing. I haven't seen Coldenhoff ride this well since he broke my heart at Red Bud last October. So honestly, if you go all the way back to 5th or 6th place, the guys are still back there. They're still bunched up a bit. So a long way to go.
Lap times are a lot closer in this, though. Febvre 2:01, Gajser 2:01.9 then, but 2:02s for Coldenhoff, Tonus, Siwa, Jonas, and Paulin, taking us right the way down to 7th. Then there's a gap, 2 seconds at least. Strybos in 8th place. Good ride for Kevin Strybos, though, on the JWR Yamaha.
Yeah, he's about as old as I am, so that's pretty incredible to be running top 10 here.
I thought he was older than you and me combined. Slight bobble there for Tonus. The Monster Energy Volvo Yamaha getting passed by the Monster Energy Yamaha, the factory MXGP rider Jeremy Siwa, and Paul Jonas right there as well. Number 41 in 6th position in that retro-looking Yoko kit. Harking back to 1985, actually, Heinz Kinney-Gardner. PJ getting alongside, but not able to find his way past Tonus. Coldenhoff, you know what? He will warm into this race, I think. It's not been a while that we've seen him up there, but, you know, here in the sand, and after what he did at Red Bud, as you said, last year. But he is starting to get dropped here, but maybe just 1 or 2 little mistakes creeping in. Who knows? He'll rectify those, though, if he can. Yeah, the most important thing is to hang in. I mean, we're 8 minutes into this race. Nothing's really been decided. You know, these guys are still in that sprint mode, and things are going to change quite a bit, so. Well, this was Jonas finding his way past Tonus. So up into 5th place then for the Husqvarna rider. Here's Siwa picking the front wheel up there so they can get the distance on that triple, a double actually, if you like. It's really the first time we've seen Jonas at the front all weekend. Hasn't really had the lap times, hasn't had a good qualifying race, so he's finally coming to life here when it counts. Always goes to show, doesn't it? Saturday doesn't mean a great deal. Sunday, another day. Ask Max Dancy about that. Yeah. Qualifying race win, and then all of a sudden down at turn 1. Big crash, but good to see him up, and it didn't look good for that left shoulder, so not sure if that means he won't be lining up for race 2 or not, or even if we'll see him in Italy in 2 weeks' time. Who knows? But we'll focus on the job at hand here, and that was Siwa going through in 4th. There's Jonas in 5th, Tonus behind him in 6th, Paulin 7th, Strybos 8th, Simpson 9, and 1 second or about a half a second quicker than Strybos. And then Van Horbig in 10th place. Up to 11th now, Jessiconis. He's just moved past the VHR KTM of Jordi Tixier. And then Ivo Monticelli is in 13th, the second of the standing construct boys. Jeffrey de Wolf on the 212 just behind them. So Jeffrey de Wolf on the North Europe Racing KTM. The homeboy, he is in 14th place ahead of Tom Koch, Saarholz Racing, then Seva, Brulikov, Tenno Leo, A1M Husqvarna, Lars van Berkel, Lucas Platt, and Misha Boyd-Dual on the Hutton Metals Yamaha. Boger's out in 21st now, so he's obviously had a problem. 20 minutes plus 2 to go. Here's Glenn Coldenhoff. 4.2 down off the leader, about 2 seconds down on the guy he's trying to close down, Tim Gajser. Was about a half second quicker than him actually on the lap time last time around. Fastest lap on track last time. Yeah, fastest out of the top 3 guys, more importantly, and he's there in that 3rd place. So PJ still trying to find a way to get back onto Jeremy Siwa. Of course, Jonas was world champion a couple of years ago when Siwa was 2nd in MX2. So these two know each other very well. There's Tonus coming into land. He's in 6th place. Here's his teammate. And then Van Horebeke. So the number 89 Honda SR Motor Blues of the Jeremy Van Horebeke, going after Gauthier Paulin, who's won a couple times at Valkenswaard, where the base is a lot harder. But
going back to his heroic effort at the Latvian Motocross Nations several years ago, we've seen him excel in these conditions.
But you can't afford to give these guys 20 seconds after 4 laps.
No, the start is everything, and we've seen that play out all weekend. If you put yourself at the front, good things generally happen.
Van Horebeke looking for a way through. Goes from the left to right, going to make a move around the outside there as we cut away, but Koldenhoff getting closer to Gajser. Febvre hasn't disappeared either.
He hasn't, no. I'd love to see this tighten up and give us a race, but you wonder here if they're just kind of pacing themselves. We're not even to halfway yet, and they know how brutal this day is going to be. So you almost, if you're at the front, you're in the top 3, there's no real urgency, especially from Koldenhoff. I don't think he feels like there's any panic. The only one I would expect to really see go would be Febvre.
Well, just as we cut away, this is what happened. Van Horebeke did swap lines around the outside of Paul. A bit greasy on the takeoff there as the back end came out, but moves up a position into 7th place, Jeremy Van Horebeke. Febvre 2:03.2. Again, not the fastest lap out of those guys, but a slight bobble there from Koldenhoff. Just losing ground to Gajser. These two still separated by just over 3 seconds. This one's anybody's, isn't it? 18 minutes plus 2 to go, Jason Thomas.
Yeah.
And 3 riders are going to be challenging for 25 points, I would say, in the last 10 minutes of this race.
Yeah, Koldenhoff fastest on track again. You can tell he really wants to close up, and just like I was saying with Febvre at all these rounds, Koldenhoff senses an opportunity here. He obviously has the pace, and they're not able to get away from him. If he can make this a battle, just like you said, it's anybody's race for the second half of this moto. For several years, we've almost known who was going to win before the gate drops, and it's pretty refreshing to not have any idea, even halfway through the moto.
Right, Gajser looks like he's starting to build a challenge here. He was 1.8 behind at the start of the lap. Slightly less now, just from that last angle.
Yeah, it's a little bit of give and take. I mean, every mistake, every little bobble, you know, ebbs and flows of the gap opening and closing. You don't really see that. It's almost you can set these guys' lap times, you know, by an alarm. But this track is so much different, and it generally rewards perfect laps. But good luck doing that.
It's just an endurance, isn't it? You know, concentration of the mind, the fitness of the body, the reliability of the motorcycle, the way you've got your suspension dialed, your gearing, everything. You know, it's not just a flat-out straight-line speed.
Yeah, this track just has so many variables to it to go fast. Just like you said, from your mind to the motorcycle to your fitness, it tests everything, much more than any other track.
So Romain Febvre then. 2:05.0, 1/10 quicker than Gajser, and all of a sudden Koldenhoff now back onto the rear wheel of the championship leader, Team HRC. These two separated by nothing, and a little bit of a panic rev there. Didn't get the elevation that he wanted, Koldenhoff, but he rides it out. It's just too close to call, isn't it? You don't know if Gajser's just going to roll his sleeves up in the next 5 or 10 minutes and just say, right, 25 points, I would like to stick them in the bank account. Crucially, Siwa in 4th place, so it's going to gain 4 more points. That's going to take it out to, what, 181?
Koldenhoff was the fastest of the 3 again. It's very small gains, but if he can continue to close, Siwa was actually the fastest of all of them last lap, and he's only a few seconds back. So we're only halfway with the potential here for a great ending to this moto if they could bunch up.
Just looking at the sectors, Sector 1, Tonus has just put the fastest first sector in at 23.6 compared to 24.3 and 2 and 7 of the first 3. So Tonus looking to maybe do something in the second half of this race, but is that Koldenhoff there? Just going in a little bit too deep into that turn. Gajser up on the pegs, just taking a breather. Just through that that left. There's a rider just trying to go all the way around the outside. The leader's obviously making light work of him, as you would expect. Back markers, though, could be a deciding factor in this one, because Febvre catching one there right where he didn't want. That's allowed Gajser to close back in. And the number 23 of Menno Ossoms not doing Febvre any favours there.
What do you
So
reckon?
2.3 seconds was gap last time around, now 1.3, so a full second pull back by Gajser.
What do you reckon the effort level is for the top three right now? I watch them and I don't see any panic in the riding or over urgency. I'm sure they're trying very hard, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this race you always have to save a little bit, and knowing that second moto is coming too.
I was about to say that the second race here is going to be the one that decides, obviously, the outcome, but they've not done a lot of track work this weekend. They've fixed the jumps, yes, but after yesterday, they left the lines in the corners, they left the braking bumps and the accelerating bumps into and out of the turns, and so from that side, it's probably going to be the toughest that we've had it in a number of years. So they'll be mindful of that. Add to that, the temperatures are around about 26, 27 degrees as AJ gets over that short little tabletop, closes in on Paulin. Then they know that the second moto, you're going to need all of those energy reserves. So I do think they are holding back, just doing enough to stay ahead, Febvre, and then Gajser likewise with Koldenhoff. The mistake will decide it between those three, or a turn of speed in the latter stages of the race.
Yeah, it's 13 plus 2 to go. I think when you get down into that 5 minutes, they get the 3, 4, 5 laps to go. Maybe they turn it up.
Look at AJ using that long legs, those long legs of his, just to power around the outside and gets the distance on the jump. Paulin didn't get the distance, and as quick as that, AJ now up into 8th place. Paulin now in 9th. But here's your leader, and looks like he's put some distance between himself and Gajser on lap 8. Oh, he catches the edge there, though. Back end got a kick. He landed in some back roofs there and almost threw him over the front. So 1.3 was the gap this time around. What is it now when they hit the line? Lap 8, a 2:02.0 for Febvre, 2:03.9, so 3.2. Good recovery, that from RF.
Yeah, nice lap there.
Here's Jonas and Tonus, Monster Energy Wilvo, Yamaha. Is he closing in? 2:05.2, 2:04.8, so a little bit gain there on Jonas, just ahead of him. Those ruts are starting to get deep as well at the end of the rhythm section there, so yes, they can still triple in at the end, but going to get harder and harder as the race goes on. We already saw out of this next right-hander, you've got the single and then the ruts on the jump. It's not always easy now to get over that gap.
Yeah, those guys were tripling all the way there at the beginning of the race. You can see it, just the track just going away from them.
But he has got Jonas right there in his line of sight. Jonas messed up on the first sector, though, 26.1 compared to a 24.4. That's why you see Tonus there, number 4, closing in on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna rider.
Yeah, this is frustrating for Paul's Jonas here. He'd already made his way past Arne Tonus, so to have to deal with him again is not exactly what he was hoping for.
And another mistake there cost him again. So he's got his work cut out. Did the easy part. Found a way through, pulled away, and then just 2 mistakes in quick succession or thereabouts has allowed Tonus right back in here and challenging for 5th position.
Yeah, and you reawaken Tonus's interest here, which is exactly what he was hoping not to do.
And that was nice there as well. And he's going to run up the inside of Jonas. Back end dancing around a little bit. Had to get it back under control before he laid the bike over in that left-hander. But good move that from Tonus. Moves up into 4th place. 5th place, sorry. And then a mistake from him. And Jonas goes back through.
Tonus and Jonas, if I was Whittier, I'd have something to go with there, but great battle either way.
But you can see these two, though, really sort of fighting hard. We've just talked about the top 3 not really excelling or overriding, if you know what I mean. They all look very calm, but these two here just look a little bit like they're fighting a little too hard.
Yeah, they're definitely pushing. Where the first three looked like they were content to wait till the end to maybe sort this out. These two are full gas right now.
Another mistake for Jonas.
Forget about the foot pegs. Useless for Tonus.
Just allows Tonus to get close, but then he reacts there. He triples his way in, and this time, and actually right now, his heart rate is going to be through the roof right now, isn't it? And he's just there, gets that corner and breathe, a thumb away pass. You know, he put a lot into those last 3 or 4 corners.
Yeah, both of these two are completely maxed out. And Jeremy Van Hoorbeek is back there too. He's going to be in the mix here soon because they've really been slowing each other down a bit.
Well, look at his lap time, a 2:03, while these two were 2:07, 2:05, tripping each other up. And Van Hoorbeek all of a sudden saying, you know what, top 5 is on the cards here. How cool would that be for him to get on the podium here this weekend as well?
Yeah, probably the least amount of help from all of these guys in front of him. So he's got the home crowd yelling and screaming for him. You know that's playing a role here.
Saw a headline somewhere that I didn't read the story, but said apparently getting a bit more help from Honda, but I don't know what that means. You know, whether it's special material or just with budgets or things like that. I don't know, but that'd be nice. He's earned it.
Yeah, I would assume he'd take anything. Any of the above would be a big help right now.
Here he is. Ran the outside. Whoa! He was committed there. I thought we were going to see 2 bikes come over the hill with no riders.
See Tonus riding off in the distance there. So it's obviously PJ has lost the pace here.
Watch this here. So Jonas gets caught in the corner here. Van Hoorbeek sits it down, rails it like it's a proper hard pack track. And look how close they were here. That would have been close as well, you know, when Jonas sitting there on a jump sees Van Hoorbeek come across him like that.
Basically the same move he made to Paul N there. He's got a nice outside line working.
Making a few mistakes though, PJ.
Yeah, he's out of his rhythm. You can see he's hitting bumps at all the wrong angles. He really needs to regroup here.
Koldenoff going back after Gajser. Febvre, meanwhile, 4.2 seconds clear for several laps. These guys were separated, all of them, the top 3, by 3.3 seconds. But Febvre now, 4.2. He's just put a 2:04 compared to a 2:06 of Gajser. And Koldenoff now on a 2:05. So homing in on Gajser is Koldenoff on the standing construct KTM here. Just taking a look back just to see where the threat is. See, we're about 8 seconds further back. So there he is up in turn 1. So Jeremy Seewer, a 2:06 for him. Oh, hello.
And it's not the right direction.
You want to get on the right line. So Seewer manages to keep it upright on 2 wheels. He's 7 seconds clear of Tonus. Here is Arno Tonus. And there's the Jerry man, Van Hoorbeek. He's in 6th place. Has he got anything left? Can he break that top 5? Because really, if you're looking at the 3rd step of the podium, let's say you need to be somewhere in the top 5 more often than not. You know, a 9th won't do it, for instance, but we have seen it happen.
Yeah, it's critical, especially with Tonus in front of him here. He's closed it down a little bit. Remember, he was just battling with Paul Jonas, you know, half a lap ago. So it'll be interesting. A podium for him on a privately funded Honda would be huge.
So Tonus now needs to maintain his focus. Here's your race leader, Monster Energy Yamaha factory MXGPs, 461. Roman Febvre, 4.2. That's come down as well. So Gajser keeping him honest. 2:06.4 and a 2:04.6, back to 2.4 again.
That yo-yo effect we've been talking about, it's just impossible to put perfect laps together.
And it is because of Gajser's lap, because Koldenoff lost ground there. 2:07 for him. So Febvre can't afford to switch off here. Got 3 wins so far this year. Roman Febvre, but 10th in the championship chase.
Those guys still going for that triple.
And that's difficult. You know, we've seen guys who were doing it opting not to. But Febvre does it, Gajser has to do it.
Tell Gajser definitely picked up the intensity. I think he sensed that Febvre was trying to make a break there. And you have to respond in that scenario if you want to stay with him. And he certainly did with that 2:04 last lap. Got
a nice colorway this weekend on the riding gear, as Tim Gajser.
You know, it's interesting when these guys are out front like this. There's, you know, just under 5 minutes plus 2. A lot of times these guys will test each other, and similar to bicycle racing, they'll make a break and see if the other guy can respond or will respond. And I think that's exactly what Gajser did, but maybe he just made a mistake here because he seems to have lost some time again.
Yeah, last
so
couple
it's
corners.
ebb and flow for these guys right now.
But it just goes to show, doesn't it? Just the concentration levels alone. It's very, very rare that this track here you can just hit the lap times so constantly. A hard pack track doesn't really break down. You can do 2:06s all day long, but this place, when you look at the first lap of Romain Febvre, which was the fastest lap of the race, a 2:01.98. He's now on a 2:06, so it's only been a 5-second drop. 6-second drop.
Would be an incredible drop off on a standard hardpack track.
Here's Strybos, I think.
Battling with Simpson there.
So Simpson in 11th, Strybos 12th. So the RFX KTM powered by PAR Homes, the lead rider in that shot, and a little bit cross-rutted there. That is a Yamaha, believe it or not. That J. Dubois machine of Strybos. Watch this. Just came in, back end, came around on him at the wrong point there, look.
It's generally not a good thing if you see all 3 number plates on one straightaway.
No. That was nicely done. Improvised, missed a few holes. Taking advantage of the boundaries of the track there, and he's got himself right back in there, but see how he almost came to a halt there as he got down the other side of that drop-off. All of that back roost, all deep. The third member of the Team Belgium for the Motocross of Nations at the end of September in Assen, Kevin Strybos.
These two are chasing Jordi Tixier, who I really haven't seen in this race, but he's just ahead of him up track.
So Simpson taking a look across. What was his lap time compared to Tixier's? Tixier 2:09, Sean Simpson 2:11, Strybos 2:11. So Tixier, you'd feel right now, has that 10th position in the bag. Here's Jeremy Seewer. A 2:06 for him, quicker than Coldenhoff, but 6 seconds behind.
See the lead out front. Great lap there from Febvre. He might be trying to make his break here.
2:03.8. So we were saying it was a 2:06 a minute ago. He's pulled it back down to within 3 seconds of his opening lap.
Yeah, it's what I was thinking. At some point, these guys are going to continue to test each other and say, okay, I'm going to go into the red zone. Are you willing to go with me? And that might be what Febvre's doing here.
Doesn't matter how many laps you do of this track. I mean, when you come here to do your training motos, there's always that element. We're here training, we're riding. You just hit the mark, you get your lap times, you do all of that. But when you've got 40 guys on a track, 30 guys on a track, whatever, and you're in a race situation and the track changes as much as this does, heavy landing? You need to be more efficient than that. And he's still getting over this, though. But ooh,
kind of.
What about Gajser?
Yeah,
right?
He made it clean that lap. Just kind of get the sense that Febvre wants to get out of here. Another 2:03. That's a concerted improvement. I mean, he was doing 2:04s on his better laps and 2:06s on his worst. So for him to drop into the 2:03s at this point of the race, you can tell when he looks back there just to gauge where Gajser's at. He really wants to go away right now.
And it should be just 3 laps to go now, because he hit the line only a few corners ago. 2:03 lap time. Not going to be much in it, though.
Well, the last thing he wants to do is battle for the last 2 laps, you know, with Gajser all over him.
I thought he caught an edge there. It looked like he turned in the takeoff.
I think he's kind of has the strategy. If he pushes now, he could cruise the last 2 laps and basically break the spirit of Gajser. And you see how much of a gap he's got. Seems like he's done just that.
Yeah, Gajser right there in the background. That's not 5.7. Obviously, that's your back marker. So I think Gajser has, I won't say made a huge mistake, but was it on the next jump here, Febvre? It looked like he just almost turned left a little bit at that point there, cross-rutted, but somehow managed to save it. Sector times, 24.3, 25.3, so he's lost another second and a half, because half a second quicker at the second sector.
I think 2 things there. Coldenhoff seemed like he... wow.
Off the track. Focus, Roman.
Not the ideal line.
Watch this. Just straightens him up as he came out of there. Landed. Talk about heart rates. So 2 to go for Romain Febvre. That was a 2:07.2.
And still gain time.
And still gain time as Gajser goes 2:08. He'll watch that back, and the guys will say, well, you know what, if you'd have kept up the pressure there, then it would have been maybe an opportunity to find a way through.
Yeah, and then Tim will just point at the bike and say, have at it, you can do it for me.
So Febvre continues to lead. He's 7 seconds clear of Gajser. Here he is, Team HRC. He's going to extend his lead in the championship, though. That's what he wants to come and do. And he'll increase that lead by 4 more points over Jeremy Seewer, who is in 4th behind Coldenhoff. Tonus is 5th, Van Horvik 6th, Paul Jonas 7, Jassiconis 8, Forlan 9, and Tixier 10. Monticelli has found his way past Sean Simpson. So Simpson now in 12th place.
You get the feeling that it all kind of happened at once. Febvre made a break. Gajser gave up on that. Coldenhoff gave up on Gajser, and it was almost like all of them had the same feeling all at once. It's like, hey, this is done. We're done here. And everyone spread out several seconds all at once.
Yeah, and then Febvre made that mistake and still gained time. But he's been solid, though, hasn't he, Tim Gajser, all year? Even before Tony got hurt, you'd have to say that the warning signs were there, that he was prepared to roll up the sleeves and duke it out. We saw it at Matterley Basin. We saw it in Trentino more in particular.
Trentino was really the turning point for me, where I think I'm not sure if he even believed he could do it until Trentino, and just the mental side, I think he took such a huge step forward.
Here's Seewer, still there in 4th position. Oh, back end, just that's where he made the mistake earlier. Getting ready to take the 1-lap board, though, Romain Febvre. He is just a few seconds up the track than these guys, well, 18 last time around.
This track is just a suspension technician's nightmare right now.
Is he closing in on Coldenhoff? Last time around, they were both 2:06s, and the gap around about 4 seconds. But need to keep an eye on that, because Seewer might be having one last charge here. Here's Romain Febvre, 2:08, 6.5 seconds as he goes into the final lap. It's not a lot, but I'd rather have 6 seconds clear than 6 seconds behind.
Yeah, that work he put in 3 or 4 laps ago is paying dividends now. He'll be able to have a leisurely last lap here.
He'll move up to 8th in the championship. He won't care about that, because obviously he's hired to win, and obviously missing some races because of injury. But 8th in the championship, he will be about 9 points down on Coldenhoff. There's Gajser in the background. That's what about 6.5 seconds looks like. But Romain Febvre just needs to be careful not to switch off too much, because this track will bite back when you're not fully focused. But it's going to be 3 wins in a row for Romain Febvre if he brings this home. But I wonder how his post-race speech will be. You know, how difficult it was, or did he make mistakes, yes or no? He's off the side of the bike there. Again, you still have to be focused. Those little mistakes are coming in because he just seems to be in cruise mode now in this final lap, maybe a little bit too much. When you look at the lap time, 2:04.4, it's going to be like a 2:12 probably.
Yeah, I think he's pretty thankful, though, that Gajser kind of backed off as well. These final few laps are not very much fun when you're under pressure, so he's saving energy right now. It may look like he's having a tough time, but, you know, he's riding at probably 60% at the moment, and choosing the bumps he wants to hit and the lines he wants to hit. And the same for Gajser. They know that the second moto is going to be absolutely brutal.
So Romain Febvre then, 2 corners from home. Here's Gajser in second. And Romain Febvre, all of a sudden, 3 wins out of the last 3 races. And you just feel that had he been healthy, he could have been a challenger. But decent win, big win for Romain Febvre as he wins MXGP Race 1 here. Gajser comes in second, well, far off on the lap time, both of them 2:13s. Coldenhoff third. Here's Jeremy Seewer fourth, and 12.2 seconds separating the first 4 guys. But Romain Febvre, he'll congratulate Tim Gajser, but how much has that taken out of him? Or is that just relief that he's won another race? Who knows? But we'll soon find out when we speak to him with Lisa, because we'll see if he's huffing and a puffing or not. But it's not easy around here on a 450 anyway.
No, I think that was an indication of how much effort he had to put in. And these guys will recover and they'll come back strong for Moto 2, but all of them were tired. No matter what place you finished, that was full effort there.
Actually feels like a 40-minute moto compared to the normal 35s.
Recovery is going to be everything for the second moto.
Yeah, local time here is 10 to 3, coming up to 9 minutes to 3, but they'll be back on track again just after 5 o'clock. So they've got a little bit of recovery time. But Febvre wins it from Gajser, Koldenhoff third, Siwa fourth, Tonus 5, Van Horbik 6, Jonas, Gajser and Paulin with Tixier 10th. We're waiting for Monticelli to come over the line in 11th. But it looks like Simpson, Strybos, Leok, De Wolf, Bogers, Brilikov, Van Berkel, Tom Koch and Misha De Waal will be your top 20 in MXGP Race 1. Do all the official classification in a moment. Of course, we'll see the highlights, we'll see the foxhole shot, we'll see all of that, but we will grab a word with our winner first. And that'll be Romain Febvre, Monster Energy Yamaha. And here he is, getting ready to talk to Lisa Leyland. How much of an effort was it, though?
Romain Febvre, congratulations. Clearly riding with confidence and momentum, but just tell us, how much effort was that first race?
A lot. It's tough, it's hard. Yeah, I struggled beginning of the race a bit. Pass, and then also like 10 minutes after, before the finish line, I lost a few laps of rhythm, and then I was done. So so happy to hold on first place. It's good.
Good job. Thanks, Romain.
What do you make of that, Jason?
That wasn't a good sign for the second moto. I mean, an unbelievable ride, but that was much more tired than I was prepared to see, I'll be honest.
So Romain Febvre wins race 1, but as he said, he lost his rhythm there in a few minutes to go, and that was it. But he was just glad to hold on, and maybe that mistake at the end was one of those things that he was alluding to, but we'll see that in a moment in the highlights. But Romain Febvre thankful to pick up 25 points here after what was a very, very... Look for Anstey. Goes down hard here, right at the back. And that was a big hit for the qualifying race winner yesterday. Looked like Jeremy Siwa grabbed the foxhole shot, or it might have been Romain Febvre actually, but Febvre under attack from Koldenhoff and Gajser. Gajser on a move early though, went from third to second and to first before the end of the lap was done.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible move, and just with Anstey, it's just how fast fortunes can change in this sport. Yesterday dominated, today on the ground, and we see him riding off there. Tough break for Anstey.
Febvre, though, responded. Eventually found his way back into the lead with that sweet move around the outside. Siwa had some work to do, found his way past Tonus. Those two eventually came home 4th and 5th, respectively. But then these two rolled up the sleeves, didn't they? Jonas and Tonus. Jonas eventually came home in 7th place. His tall teammate, though, Gajser Tonus eventually came home in 8th. Van Horebeke had a good late charge in the race as he charged up to an eventual 6th place, found his way past Paul, so too did Gajser Tonus. And then Tonus and Jonas had their little battles. Eventually, though, it was Tonus who won out with some daring riding. This was close between Van Horebeke and Jonas as the Belgian moved past the Latvian for 6th place. Big moment here from Romain Febvre with a lap or so to go. Completely ruined his rhythm. Even before that, though, he was done. Seewer couldn't close in on Glenn Coldenhoff. And it's Coldenhoff who took 3rd, but Febvre, a winner in race 1, but how much is that taken out of him for race 2? Relief on the Frenchman's face as he crossed the line, but I would imagine Gajser was a little bit fresher after that race.
Yeah, I would like to see him. It's going to be interesting to see who has energy. It's only going to get hotter and rougher for Moto 2.
Right, foxhole shot. Let's have a look. Oh, that was close. It was Glenn Coldenhoff, standing contract KTM. So Coldenhoff with his 2nd black plate of the year. The same as Romain Febvre and Julian Lieber. But Cairoli on 8, Gajser on 6, Seewer on 3, Tonus on 3. But a tough first MXGP race. Take a look at some of the best moments, so we'll relive some of those moments here, Jason. Tough race, certainly for that man right there, Max Anstey. Hopefully we'll see him in race 2, but I think not.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was such domination from him, and to not make it more than 50 meters today is tough.
Weather would have definitely played its part, but Gajser remained cool. And he's strengthening that grip on the championship, isn't he? 181 points now as we go into race 2. He could win it here, but it would take something drastic from Jeremy Seewer. But you would have to think that Imola is where it's maybe going to happen.
Yeah, the way Seewer's been, he's been pretty consistent. But yeah, for Gajser, he saw how tired Febvre was there, and I wouldn't count on an overall win for Gajser.
A place he's never won at as well.
But it's got to be a motivating factor, yeah.
That was MXGP Race 1. Thank you, Jason, for now. We are going to take a break. We'll be back in just over 1 hour's time for MX2, Race 2, and the concluding race of the weekend, MXGP Race 2. We'll see you then.